Welcome back to another anime review. I'm Johnny Jigsaw, and today we're going to be reviewing Fooly Cooly Progressive. So, I went into Progressive wanting to really like it because when I was a kid, it was the first experience I had with Fooly Cooly. It was watching Progressive when it was coming out and the original on Toonami. And I gotta say, it was alright. So, let's get into it. I think first with starting with like the flaws. I think the greatest flaw is character writing and pacing and overall structure of the show. While I did enjoy the show, it does have some glaring issues, like the fact that they set up Hidomi as her main character arc. She doesn't really go through much of one. They set up themes early on of abandonment with her father, and they just don't really seem to ever follow up on it. She has signs of almost being sort of childlike to a degree, and maybe that being like, some sort of coping mechanism or something, but they never really follow up on it. They don't do anything with it. It seems like they had all the pieces for a phenomenal character, and they just sort of did nothing with it. On the topic of characters, one thing I will say, though, that they did very well, was Haruko got a lot more, well, not a lot more, she adds a lot in the original, but they gave her some more character growth, and I really, really appreciate that for a character that I will say did probably need it. Well, it's not like she's a bad character, but it's never bad to have character growth. I think that she was probably the best part of the show because, well, she usually is, and she is consistent. Throughout all the seasons, she's very consistently Haruko, regardless of what show she's in. I think the whole thing with the inhibitor headphones was very interesting for Hidomi. I thought it was very cool. I think the greatest flaw with the show, however, though, is that it's very American take on Japanese media, but they don't really understand their culture or how they operate. In the sense of, you can tell this was made by an American company, you can tell this was made by Adult Swim, because it doesn't really understand Japan, I guess is the best way to really put it. It's more like an American show with Japan as the setting, And I think that it really kind of hurts the show in the end, is just not really understanding what made the original so special. But the basic plot is just kind of, unlike the original, it just kind of feels like it stumbles its way through the show, where it's just every episode is just Hidomi is aloof and no character growth is achieved, and then she kind of gets into a semi-relationship with, I can't remember his name, and, that's really the extent of her character, is just kind of a back and forth with them until they finally actually get together in the end. But her only really real growth seemed to be when the guy kind of went through some weird Fooly Cooly BS and kind of disappeared, and she got all pissed and tried to kill Haruko. But that still wasn't really growth. That was just kind of, action for the sake of action. And I think that's, as much as I enjoyed it, it was a very flawed show. But yeah, we're at the end of the review where I tell you how I liked it and if I would recommend it to you. I would rank it at a 7 out of 10. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't phenomenal either. Wasn't much to say on it. It was alright. I liked it. Just not as much as, say, Alternative or the original. Or even Shoegaze for that. But it was still a solid show if you just kind of think of it removed from Fooly Cooly as its own thing. And what I recommended to you, I would recommend the original or Shoegaze first. Alternative first. But if you want to go and check it out, why not, right?